Sharad Kohli, bringing you into the conversation. Sharad, not the first chip, but certainly not going to be the last, and that's the larger conversation that I want to have with you. Yes, our experts are right that this is not the first nor the most advanced, but a critical step that we've taken today. We are living in an era, Sharad, where there is a lot of concern about geopolitical vulnerabilities, about supply chain disruptions. Who knows who's going to wake up tomorrow and say we don't want to supply XYZ to India. Keeping that in mind, Sharad, how critical is this moment?
Good evening, Devika. Good evening to my fellow panelists and Newsx viewers. Extremely critical, I would say. And, the call given from the ramparts of Red Fort by Prime Minister of Swadeshi. Obviously, the call was given for Atmanirbhar Bharat back in 2020 after COVID, during COVID rather, when Prime Minister wanted us not to be dependent on imports. But this time the call given was for exports as well after what the mayhem that America has caused across the world because of the tariffs. Extremely critical because if you look at Taiwan, you look at Korea, look at China, look at America, and look at, to a certain extent, some of the European countries, who control the semicon market, the chip market as of now, more than $700 billion, heading very rapidly to $1 trillion mark as far as the global economy is concerned. And we realize the importance of these chips in the electronic stuff that we use on a day-to-day basis. We are not just talking of space. We are looking at a broader picture of the overall. I mean, this is the brain of any high-profile electronic device. So with 10 units being approved in India, they're coming on the ground. Of course, we're going to have the first chip hopefully by the end of this year. Extremely, extremely critical because the country has learned the hard way. First from China some time ago when they strangulated us on our tunnel boring machines. They strangulated us on fertilizer dipotassium phosphate for rabi crops. Then they strangulated us on the rare magnets. Of course, a little bit of Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai concept is coming back to the fore. We are more friendly. President attended the SCO summit and, direct flight starting, Kailash Mansarovar happening. Things are getting closer, although you can't trust China at all times, but things seem to be getting better. So, and then on export, look what America has done. We've taken a hit of a major part of our merchandise. So I think being self-dependent, being Atmanirbhar is the way to go forward. In fact, yesterday, while the SCO summit was on, I was with your managing editor, Rishabh Gulati, and I emphasized on another technological aspect. This, of course, is the semicon, which is, again, high-tech. But I emphasize on the digital part of it. When I did give an example of Koo. There used to be a Twitter-like, micro-blogging platform here. If you remember, it used to be called Koo. And ultimately, it could not survive because it ran out of funding. So I think the need of the hour is that the Indian technology, whether with regard to space, chip, semiconductor, but we also need to be the medium through which I'm connected to your show right now. We look at Meta, we look at Alphabet, we look at Amazon, we look at so many other things that we use on a day-to-day basis vis-a-vis the digital part of our life. I think we need to indigenously develop those platforms. Also, what if tomorrow, because of some reason, what if, Donald Trump's mind further gets into a spin, he says, people, you will get into a spin. What if his own mind gets into a spin? And he says, thank you very much, no more alphabet for India. Or probably we land up in a situation where we have to ban for some reason the way China has done. You can't have a Meta in China. You don't have a Google in China. But China is still doing very well. It's got its own Weibo and things like that. I think it is high time that India's technology and, the dichotomy is that these very companies that I named, these very tech platforms which I named, they are being run by Indian minds in America. The head of Alphabet is an Indian. The key people in Microsoft are Indians. The CEO is Indian. I've got a whole list of companies where Indians, and plus the Indians techies who are working there. If the same techies and the same minds can develop something within India, so we don't have to depend on the platform in which me and you are connected right now, on the overseas digital technology, I think I'll be happier at that point of time. Okay. But this is welcome. We've learned the hard way what shortage of chips can do to us. I remember when car queue bookings were for 6 months or 1 year. So the broader picture is indeed very, very welcoming. And okay. I think it's a very welcome step. We need to press the accelerator, Devika, without a doubt.
Okay, Sharad, that's an interesting point.